She had $3 in her account, a screaming baby, and she sent the most desperate text of her life to the wrong number. That mistake, it destroyed her, but it also saved her. Here's what happened. Maya Sterling stared at her phone screen through blurry tears. 2:47 a.m. Her 8-month-old daughter Lily had been crying for an hour straight, and Maya knew exactly why. The formula container sat empty on the kitchen counter, mocking her with its hollowness. She opened her banking app with trembling fingers. $3.47. That was it. That was all that stood between her and complete failure as a mother. Her next paycheck from the hotel wouldn't come for 5 more days, and Lily couldn't wait 5 days. Babies don't understand poverty. They just know hunger. Maya had been working double shifts as a housekeeper ever since Derek, Lily's father, had walked out the moment she told him she was pregnant. "I'm not ready for this," he'd said, as if she had been ready, as if anyone is ever truly ready to do it alone. He blocked her number, moved states, and disappeared into his new life while she drowned in this one. She scrolled through her contacts and found Jessica, her only real friend from high school. They'd borrowed money from each other before during tight months. Jessica would understand. Jessica always understood. Maya typed quickly, her pride burning in her throat like acid. "Jess, I'm so sorry to ask, but I need to borrow $40 for formula. Lily's out and I don't get paid until Friday. I promise I'll pay you back. I'm desperate." She hit send before she could overthink it, before shame could stop her. Lily's cries pierced the thin apartment walls, and Maya knew her neighbors were awake now too, judging her, pitying her. She pulled Lily close and whispered, "It's okay, baby. Help is coming. Mama's got you." But she didn't have anything, not really. Julian Pierce sat in his floor-to-ceiling windowed penthouse office, the city lights glittering 40 stories below like fallen stars. His laptop screen glowed with acquisition contracts that would finalize by morning. Another company absorbed into his empire. At 35, he'd built a tech empire worth $4.3 billion, and he'd never felt more hollow. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. He ignored everything that wasn't business. But something made him look. "Jess, I'm so sorry to ask, but I need to borrow $40 for formula. Lily's out, and I don't get paid until Friday. I promise I'll pay you back. I'm desperate." Julian read it twice. A wrong number. Some struggling mother begging her friend for baby formula money? He should block it. He had 17,000 unread emails. He had a board meeting in 5 hours. He had no space in his life for strangers and their problems. His finger hovered over the block button. Then something cracked in his chest. Something that hadn't moved in years, not since his own family had tried to steal his company from him. Not since he learned that everyone wanted something from him. Everyone had an angle. Everyone lied. But this text, this desperate, raw, honest plea, this was real. He typed back, "How much do you need?" The response came quickly. "Jess? Just $40 for formula. I swear I'll pay you back Friday." Wait, who is this? This isn't Jessica's number. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I texted the wrong person. Julian stared at those words. The wrong person. Story of his life. Everyone thought he was the right person when they wanted money, connections, power. But this woman, she was apologizing for accidentally asking him for help. He opened his banking app and sent $500. Then he typed, "For the baby. No need to pay back." He waited, wondering why his heart was suddenly pounding. Maya's phone buzzed with a notification that made her freeze. $500 deposited from an unknown sender. Her hands started shaking so violently, she almost dropped Lily. No, she whispered, typing frantically. "I can't accept this. I don't even know who you are. Please, this is too much. I just needed $40. The response came quickly. "Then consider it a loan. Pay me back when you can." Maya stared at those words, her mind racing through every horror story she'd heard about strangers online. Why would you do this? What do you want? Nothing. Just feed your baby. She didn't sleep that night. She fed Lily and watched her daughter finally settle into peaceful sleep, milk-drunk and content. But Maya's mind wouldn't quiet. Who sends $500 to a complete stranger? Was this some kind of scam? Would they track her down, demand something worse than money? But the next morning, the money was still there. Real. She bought formula, diapers, groceries, actual groceries, not just ramen and peanut butter. She cried in the grocery store aisle. That night, she texted, "Thank you. I don't understand why you did this, but you saved us today." You don't need to understand. Just take care of Lily. That's a beautiful name. Something about that message made her smile. Over the next week, they texted. Small things at first. Maya told him about her exhausting shifts at the hotel, about Lily's first tooth coming in, about her dream of finishing nursing school someday. He never shared much about himself, just called himself Jay, and said he worked too much and slept too little. "Why did you really help me?" she asked one night. "Because everyone deserves someone in their corner, and you sounded like you've been fighting alone for too long." Maya pressed the phone to her chest. She didn't know who Jay was, but his words felt like a lifeline. 3 weeks into their nightly conversations, Maya typed something that terrified her. "I want to meet you, to say thank you properly, face to face." Julian stared at that message for 10 full minutes. This was it, the moment everything would shatter. If she saw him, she'd recognize him. She'd Google him. She'd see the Forbes articles, the tabloid speculation about his dating life, the ruthless CEO reputation. She'd realize he'd been lying by omission, and this fragile, honest thing they'd built would crumble. But he couldn't say no. He was addicted to her messages, to the way she made him feel human again. "Okay," he typed. "The Morning Light Diner on 5th Street. Tomorrow, 7 p.m.? Perfect. I'll bring Lily. Fair warning, she might throw food at you." Julian showed up in a plain black hoodie and jeans, looking nothing like the man who'd been on the cover of Fortune magazine last month. He'd even borrowed his driver's baseball cap. Maya was already in a booth, Lily in a high chair beside her, and when she looked up and smiled, Julian forgot how to breathe. She was beautiful, not magazine beautiful, but real beautiful. Tired eyes that still sparkled, natural curly hair pulled into a ponytail, a coffee stain on her shirt. Authentic. "Jay?" she asked, standing. "Maya." He slid into the booth, and Lily immediately grabbed his finger with her tiny hand. His heart cracked wide open. They talked for 3 hours. Maya told him about her life, her struggles, her dreams. Julian carefully crafted a version of himself, a software developer, he said, who did well enough but worked insane hours, close enough to the truth to not feel like a complete lie. When they finally left, Maya hugged him. "Thank you for being real," she whispered. Julian held her close, drowning in guilt. The next 3 months were the best and worst of Julian's life. By day, he was the ruthless CEO, acquiring companies, firing executives, making decisions that affected thousands of lives with cold calculation. He'd sit in board meetings in $5,000 suits, negotiating billion-dollar deals, while his phone buzzed with texts from Maya about Lily's latest milestone. By night, he transformed into Jay, the normal guy who met Maya at playgrounds, who learned how to change diapers, who fixed the leaking pipe under her kitchen sink because her landlord was useless. He'd traded his penthouse for her cramped apartment filled with baby toys, and he'd never been happier. They'd fallen into a rhythm. Maya would put Lily to bed, and they'd sit on her worn-out couch talking until midnight. She'd study for her nursing prerequisite courses while he quizzed her. He'd tell her carefully edited stories about work problems that were actually billion-dollar corporate warfare. She made him laugh. She made him forget. One night, as she leaned against his shoulder, Maya whispered, "I'm scared." "Of what?" Of you, of falling for someone who might leave. Her voice cracked. Derek promised me forever and was gone in 60 seconds. I can't do that again. I can't let Lily get attached to someone who'll disappear. Julian turned to face her, taking her hands. Maya, I swear to you, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not him. I won't abandon you. She searched his eyes, wanting desperately to believe. Then she kissed him, soft and scared and hopeful. Julian kissed her back, knowing he was the worst kind of liar. Because he wasn't Derek. He was worse. He was building their love on a foundation of deception, and when the truth came out, and it would come out, it would destroy everything. But he couldn't stop. He was in too deep, too in love. Victor Kane, Julian's business partner and CFO, noticed everything. He'd built his career on noticing things others missed. And lately, Julian Pierce, the man who once worked 18-hour days, who never took vacations, who treated relationships like distractions, was distracted. Late arrivals to meetings, smiling at his phone, leaving early. Victor had hired a private investigator, and now he sat in Julian's office with a manila folder full of photographs. Who is she? Victor asked, spreading photos across the desk. Julian at a playground, Julian at a diner, Julian holding a baby. Julian's blood turned to ice. That's none of your business. It's absolutely my business when your personal life affects company performance. She's nobody, Julian, a hotel maid with a kid. What are you doing? Get out. Or maybe, Victor smiled coldly, she's exactly the leverage I need. 2 days later, Maya was scrubbing toilets at the hotel when her coworker Shanice rushed in, phone extended. Girl, is this you? The tabloid headline screamed across the screen. Billionaire Julian Pierce's secret girlfriend, single mom, gold digger exposed. The photos showed everything. Her and Jay at the diner, at the park, him at her apartment. But they called him Julian Pierce, the Julian Pierce. Net worth $4.3 billion, one of the world's youngest self-made billionaires. Maya's vision tunneled. The phone slipped from Shanice's hand. This couldn't be real. Jay wasn't. He couldn't be. Her phone exploded with calls. Unknown numbers, reporters, her landlord suddenly very interested in her relationship. The hotel manager pulled her into her office, concern and suspicion warring on his face. Maya, I need to ask, are these allegations true? Are you dating Julian Pierce? Because we have policies about employees using their position to... I didn't know, Maya shouted, Lily crying in her arms. I didn't know who he was. She ran, grabbed Lily, took the bus to her apartment and found photographers camped outside. She called Jessica, actually Jessica this time, who helped her escape through the back entrance. That night, Julian came to her apartment and found it empty. 3 months felt like 3 years. Maya had moved to a cheaper apartment in a different neighborhood, changed her number, and built walls around her heart so high that even Lily couldn't make her smile anymore. She worked 3 jobs now: hotel housekeeping in the morning, retail in the afternoon, overnight warehouse shifts when she could get them. Jessica watched Lily, and Maya sent her every penny she could spare. The money Julian kept trying to send was returned. His lawyers appeared at her workplace with checks. She tore them up. He sent flowers. She left them on the street. She wanted nothing from him, nothing except the life she'd had before she'd been stupid enough to fall in love with the lie. At night, Lily would point at photos on Maya's phone, pictures she couldn't bring herself to delete, and say, "Data?" And Maya would cry into her daughter's hair, hating herself for letting this happen. Across the city, Julian Pierce was unraveling. His board members whispered about his erratic behavior. He'd snapped at investors, forgotten meetings, let acquisitions fall through. He was drinking scotch at 10 a.m. and not sleeping at all at night. His penthouse felt like a tomb. Victor was making moves, quietly building alliances with board members, suggesting that perhaps Julian was emotionally compromised and unfit to lead. Julian didn't care. Let Victor have the company. Nothing mattered without Maya. Then his lawyer called with news that made his blood run cold. Julian, there's been a development. Maya Sterling is facing an eviction hearing next week. And there's more. Lily's biological father has appeared and filed for emergency custody. He's claiming Maya is mentally unstable and financially unfit. The court date is in 5 days. Victor, Julian breathed. What? This is Victor. He's trying to destroy her to keep me distracted. Find out everything, now. For the first time in 3 months, Julian felt something besides despair. He felt rage. The family court was nothing like Maya imagined. Cold, clinical. Derek, Lily's father, sat across the aisle in an expensive suit she knew he couldn't afford. He'd never paid a dime of child support, had never even met Lily, and now he wanted custody? His lawyer was vicious. Miss Sterling has demonstrated a pattern of financial instability, poor judgment in romantic relationships, and an inability to provide a stable home environment for the child. She was recently evicted. I wasn't evicted, Maya interrupted, her public defender squeezing her arm in warning. I moved. You moved because you couldn't afford rent. You work 3 jobs and still can't make ends meet. Meanwhile, my client has a stable career, a home, and family support. Your client abandoned us, Maya's voice cracked. He wanted me to have an abortion. He's never even met Lily. This isn't about her. This is about... The courtroom doors burst open. Julian Pierce walked in, and the room went silent. He wore a full suit, looked every inch the billionaire he was, but his eyes were only on Maya. Her face went white. Your Honor, Julian said calmly, I apologize for the interruption, but I have information relevant to this case. The judge frowned. And you are? Julian Pierce. He looked at Maya, his heart in his throat. I'm someone who loves Maya Sterling and her daughter. And I'm here to tell the truth. Maya stood up, shaking. Get out! You don't get to... Please, Julian said quietly. Just let me tell them what you won't. The judge gestured for him to continue. Julian turned to face the court. I lied to Maya about who I was because I was tired of people wanting me for my money. She accidentally texted me asking for help, and when we met, she thought I was just a regular guy. She fell in love with who I was, not what I had. When she found out the truth, she left. She refused every dollar I tried to give her. She's not a gold digger. She's the most honest, proud, fierce person I've ever known. The courtroom was silent as Julian continued, producing a folder his legal team had prepared. Your Honor, I had my people investigate how Mr. Sterling suddenly could afford this custody battle. The money came from Victor Kane, my business partner, who's been trying to orchestrate a coup at my company. He paid Mr. Sterling $50,000 to file for custody, not because he cares about this child's welfare, but to emotionally destabilize me during crucial board negotiations. He handed documents to the judge. Here's the wire transfer, emails between them, and Mr. Sterling's statement to a private investigator, recorded legally, admitting he's never wanted custody and plans to give the child to his parents while he continues his lifestyle. Derek went pale. His lawyer started sputtering objections. The judge read the documents, her expression darkening. Mr. Sterling, is this true? Maya watched, stunned, as the man who'd abandoned her crumbled under questioning. Within 30 minutes, his petition was dismissed with prejudice. The judge awarded Maya full custody and issued a restraining order. Outside the courthouse, Maya stood on the steps, holding Lily, trying to process everything. Derek approached carefully, like she might run. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. "Yes, I did. Maya, I know I hurt you. I lied about who I was, and that was unforgivable. But I never lied about how I felt. Every moment with you and Lily was the only real thing in my life." "You humiliated me," she whispered, tears falling. "The whole world thinks I'm a gold digger who trapped a billionaire. My coworkers, my neighbors, everyone looks at me differently now." "I know, and I'm going to fix that." He stepped back. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just need you to know you changed me. You made me human again. And even if you never want to see me again, I'm going to make sure you and Lily have everything you need. Not as charity, as what you deserve." He walked away, and Maya let him go. 6 months passed like a dream Maya kept trying to wake up from. True to his word, Julian had created the Lily Foundation, a nonprofit providing resources, housing assistance, and education funding for single mothers. He'd appointed an independent board, and they'd offered Maya a position as community outreach coordinator with a salary that let her quit her 3 jobs and enroll in nursing school full-time. She'd wanted to refuse. Pride told her to refuse. But Lily needed stability, and Maya needed to finish her degree. So she'd accepted, telling herself it was just a job, that she wasn't taking anything from Julian personally. But she'd seen what he'd done beyond the foundation. He'd exposed Victor Kane's embezzlement and ousted him from the company. He'd given a press conference where he publicly apologized to her, correcting every false narrative the media had spun. "Maya Sterling is not a gold digger," he said, looking directly into the cameras. "She's a hero who's raising her daughter alone with more grace than I've shown in my entire privileged life. The only person who should be ashamed is me." The media attention had died down. Maya could grocery shop again without whispers following her. Still, she thought about him every day. Lily would point at random men and say, "Dada," and Maya's heart would break a little more. One evening, she took Lily to the Morning Light Diner, their place. She came here sometimes, torturing herself with memories. She was wiping applesauce from Lily's face when someone slid into the booth across from her. Julian. He looked different, softer somehow, less polished. His eyes were uncertain, so different from the confident billionaire or even the relaxed Jay she'd fallen for. "I'm not here to ask for anything," he said quickly. I needed you to know something." Maya's heart was pounding. "What?" "That loving you and Lily was the only time in my life I've ever felt truly alive. Not successful, not powerful, just alive." His voice cracked. "You don't owe me anything. You don't have to forgive me. I just needed you to know that you were real. We were real." He started to stand, but Maya's voice stopped him. "You broke my trust." She wasn't crying yet, but her eyes were bright. "That hurt more than anything, more than Derek leaving, more than the tabloids, more than the photographers, because I believed you. I believed in us." "I know," Julian whispered. "I'm sorry." "But," Maya continued, and his breath caught, "you also kept every promise after that. You fought for us when I couldn't fight anymore. You gave me my dignity back. You didn't buy your way back into my life. You earned it by letting me go." Julian sat back down slowly, not daring to hope. Maya reached across the table, her hand shaking. "I'm terrified. Trusting you the first time nearly destroyed me. What if you hurt us again?" "I won't," Julian said fiercely, taking her hand. "Maya, I swear on everything I am, no more lies, no more secrets, just us. real and messy and honest. I need time. I need us to start over, slowly. As slow as you need. I'll wait forever if that's what it takes. Lily, who'd been watching this exchange with wide eyes, suddenly squealed, "Dada!" and launched herself from her high chair into Julian's arms. He caught her laughing and crying at the same time, and Maya laughed too, really laughed for the first time in months. "Okay," she said softly. "Let's try again, but this time no billion-dollar secrets. Just you, me, and Lily." "Just us," Julian agreed. Lily pressed between them. "The only fortune I need." Outside the diner window, the city lights sparkled like possibilities. Inside, a family born from a wrong number and rebuilt through second chances held each other close. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was better. It was real. And that is how a desperate text to the wrong number became the right person at the perfect time. Maya and Julian's story proves that sometimes our biggest mistakes lead to our greatest blessings, but only when we're brave enough to fight for trust and honest enough to deserve it. If this story touched your heart, made you cry, or made you believe in second chances, hit that like button right now and subscribe for more emotional stories like this that will make you feel something real. Now, I need to know. Drop a comment below and tell me, could you forgive Julian for lying about being a billionaire? Was Maya right to give him a second chance? Have you ever texted the wrong number? What happened? Your comments make these stories even better, so don't be shy. See you in the next incredible story. Until then, remember, sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right call.